What's happening, YouTube? So, I've put a few videos up in the last couple years to prep body kits to go on different cars, to do metal work, body work, paint, detail work. My forte, what I've been doing the last 10 years, has been primarily paint. Of course, if you want a body shop, you need to pull the welder out. You need to learn how to shape panels with filler, how to properly adjust panels, take bolts out. So there's a lot more involved with painting than people think. It's a lot of different skill sets combined into one. I've hired maybe a total of 15, 16 people over the years. Some of them did really well, some of them tried and realized this isn't for me, and that's fine. That's why you have multiple jobs when you in life. You're always gonna pick and choose what you want to do for a living. I'm kind of coming on the tail end, to be honest. Turning 30 in March, and I'm transitioning into electrical engineering because it's very new to me. I don't know much about electrical, and that's one thing I've challenged myself since I was 12 even, was to become really good at something and then to move on to the next. So by the time I hit a certain age, I have that skill set, or I was able to try that different job. So I would say I had a pretty successful career. Um, there's always going to be days where it gets frustrating or tiring, or oh my gosh, I didn't make that much money on this job, or that person was rude to me, or that employee didn't show up. It's part of life. That's the learning curve. Um, I opened up my shop, I want to say 7 years ago. I started in my parents' on their property in the dirt, which is the worst place you want to start auto body. Believe it or not, I was able to do some really good work for different people in the county, and once word spread about affordable restorations, I was pumping them out between 6 to 8 months. Um, I was able to get a shop, and I put my life savings into that. I was still able to afford to tinker on my toys, go travel to, places I've never been to. Over the years, you want to live life, you want to splurge and get, that $40 dinner. Ooh, look at that $100 pair of shoes. It's just choosing when to do that. And this is kind of my YouTube channel for young entrepreneurs, whether you're 18 or 25 or 50. If you've always worked for someone, or you've always had that job and you want to venture out and try something on your own, you know, it's one of the best feelings in the world is to try, even if it seems tough or if you don't want to do it for a living. I stuck with it. I have a pretty reputable name. I have done some bad work in the past. There's always jobs that will just bite you in the butt, and you either give those people back their money or you make it right. So on all my jobs, I gave the person back their money or I redid it for them. And that's part of growing up, learning. You could do a really nice job for someone and they could be like, oh, that looks horrible. That's part of the game, man. There's people looking to get stuff for free. You just need to learn how to pick and choose your clientele, how much time to put into certain projects. I've gone way overboard on just low paying jobs because my passion went into it, and all of a sudden, like 6 months later, their best friend or their dad or their whoever, they go, oh my gosh, you did such a job for them, here's $10,000, can you do this for me? And I'm like, oh man, that was perfect timing because I needed more cash flow. So everything happens for a reason. I'm going to start a couple of videos on how to blocker, how to drill spot welds, what tools to use. Right now we're in middle of December. I live near the ocean. It's about 60 degrees out today. Sun's pumping out a little bit. You're always going to run into issues when the temperature fluctuates with body work. How much hardener do you put into the Bondo? How much primer do you layer up on your filler? Um, I worked for a shop the last few months, 2 or 3 days a week, picking up different tricks, learning from a really reputable body guy that worked under Sam and Chip Foose when he was a kid. So imagine the skill set he has. And even in my first week, I learned stuff I had no clue was even possible. And this is, almost 10 years in the industry. By the time I started school, by the time I'm turning 30, I went to college to study business and I ended up taking body classes. So it's amazing what you can learn and where. So be very open minded to people. I hired a homeless person because they were down on their luck. I like to give back to the community. That's how I was raised. And I hired him for 3 months till he got back on his feet. And he taught me stuff I had no clue, that even existed. And it made me money. It still does till this day. So be very kind and humble and be very open minded. That's all I can say. Put in the time. I put in a lot of time to keep my shop open. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've hired improper employees. I've done jobs for people I shouldn't have. That's and every business owner is gonna tell you their journey, and that's one cool thing is you learn from your mistakes. So, anyways, enough about me. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start drilling spot welds to show you what tools to use, how to use a punch, so the spot weld bit grabs, how to properly block primer, how to wet sand the surrounding surface for paint, how to backmask, and how to do budget paint jobs if you don't have a booth. So I rent a booth when I spray high dollar paint jobs. If I'm doing a spot job like on a bumper, I just wet down the floors. I'm not going to spend $100, to rent a booth for 2 hours. It just doesn't make sense. So I hope you guys do well your journey, whether it be body work or let's say you're a construction worker or electrician, even a doctor or a lawyer, whatever job you have, just become the best at it and put your passion into it. All right, guys. See you later.